Sean Zittel, FightHype.com, here with my man Tim Bradley, the Hall of
What's
Fame.
up, man?
What's going on, Tim? You called a beautiful fight over the weekend for the lightweight title between Haney
It's
and Lomachenko.
crazy.
What's your Monday morning thoughts?
Look, man, that fight goes down one of the best fights that I feel that I've ever called. Entertaining, man. On every level. You know, you got two guys that understand the sweet science of boxing at the highest skill level. Young Devin Haney, he came to fight the champ. You know, he came to fight. Had a, I had a fantastic game plan. I thought going into the fight, Bill Haney came to us. During one of their preliminary fights, and it was saying that we're gonna walk them down, we're gonna take it to Loma, and that's what they did, man. That's exactly what they did. I When I was watching a fight live and I was calling a fight, I usually don't score the fight. I don't score it. I kind of go off feeling, you know. One round, you can see one guy doing his thing. Another round, you know, it can go either way. I wasn't sure as I was watching the fight because I don't score it. It's hard to really score a fight and actually call a fight at the same time. It's
Right.
really difficult. Um, but after watching it twice already, this is what I came up with. I can make an argument for both guys on why they won. For both guys, not just Haney, but I can also make an argument for Lomachenko. This is one of those fights, one of the hardest fights to judge because each round, a lot of rounds, there was a couple of definitive rounds for, I would say, Haney. Um, and I have it written down. I'll have to share it with you later, but I have it written down. I'm driving, but there's a couple of definitive rounds where I was like, man, Haney, he won that round. He dominated that round, and it was toward the mid part of the fight, like maybe like 5-4 round there. He dominated. Um, and then there was a few rounds on the back end of the fight where Lomachenko clearly dominated and took control in those rounds. And then there was a ton of swing rounds in between where they were going back and forth. And you could, I could tell you, you could give it to Haney if you wanted to, or you can give it to Loma if you wanted to, because the criteria for scoring fights, first of all, effective, clean punches. Both guys are landing effective, clean punches throughout the night. Haney was more dominant downstairs with an occasional hook up top, good jab. Haney also, another criteria is effective aggressiveness. Haney was pressing forward as well, you know, in spots. And then in spots, he was having to fight off his back foot and counter Loma as well. And, you know, not only that, you have to also think about defense. I think both guys are doing a good job trying to get away from shots after they would land punches. So, you know, that's another criteria. These guys, you have to understand, they hit every criteria in these rounds. Effective aggression. You saw one pressing forward. You saw one boxing off the back foot. You saw one countering. You saw clean, effective punches from both guys. It was so difficult to score this fight as I'm watching it. I can tell you, like, I can watch it. I was watching the fight and I was just like, dang, Haney's being the aggressor. He's landing the cleaner punches. Wow, look at that body shot right there. You know, then you see a flurry of combinations and coming from Lomachenko, and everybody goes crazy. And now you're thinking, oh, wow, Lomachenko won that round. And that's not necessarily true. You know, that's not necessarily true. He didn't, you know, he did a little bit at the end of I believe it was the second round, or maybe the first round. He did a
First
little bit
round.
of flurry
Yeah.
at the end, first round, the end, flurry at the end, but that didn't win him the round, you know.
Right.
But what that flurry did and what it allowed me to say was that, hey, he had his moments too. I understand that. You know, I follow the comments and I read what people are saying and I understand it and it's fine. And those that bother me. But what I'm trying to tell you is that during the broadcast, if you're heavy favoring one guy and I have my partner, Andre Ward, if he's favoring Haney, or let's say he's talking about Haney. I don't even want to say favorite.
Right, right.
He's talking about Haney and what Haney's doing.
Right.
I'm talking about what Loma and what Loma's doing. And it's a back and forth. So it's an even call we're trying to give you guys at home. Evenly. Not just being heavy on one guy. And then there's rounds where one guy would dominate and we will both be on the same tip. Both be on the same tip. But anyhow, I'm not mad. I can tell you this. I'm not mad at the decision because I can see how one judge can give a couple of swing rounds to one particular fighter or the champion. And that's exactly what happened. And if it would have went fine with it. I would have preferred a draw in this instance, in this moment, because this fight was that close. And people that are calling it and saying that it was a complete blowout or whitewash, 8 rounds to 4, y'all need to stop watching boxing. Please stop watching boxing. Stop scoring fights. 8 rounds to 4, are you kidding me? I've even seen 9 rounds to 3. Are you kidding me? I'm like, man, y'all need to stop tripping. And that tells you right there that you have something invested in the fighter the fighter that you probably thought was going to win the fight. Because everybody wants to be that one at the barbecue the next day or at work the next day, say, I told you. So of course they're going to be some bias going that way. And like I told you guys before, I thought Haney was going to win this fight.
Right.
But if you hear and listen to me on the call, was I going crazy on Haney? No, I wasn't going crazy on Haney. I was calling what I was seeing. And I was predicting the future of what was possibly going to happen. So early on, what did I say? Oh, I smelled trouble late in the fight. And what happened late in the fight, people? What happened late in the fight? So, look, I would have preferred a draw. Run it back. That's what I would love to see them run it back. We probably won't get that. I don't know what Devin Haney's going to do. But the fight was so damn good and so close, it could have went either way. Either way. Haney got the nod this time. It is what it is. Those that wanted Lomachenko to win the fight, I understand. Trust me, I understand at the end of the day. But it didn't happen. It is what it is. The judges felt at that time. And let me talk about the judges real quick. 2 of the judges had it at 115, 113. I thought they were spot on, give or take. I thought they were spot on. 2 of those rounds or one of those rounds could have went to Lomachenko, or 2 could have went to Lomachenko, or vice versa. They gave it to Haney. That's fine. The 116, I think it was 112.
116, 112. And a lot's being made about the 10th round by Moretti. Yeah.
Yes. That right there, I don't know what happened. I like Moretti. He's cool. Cool guy. But that can't happen. And even if, let me tell you this as well. But even if Moretti was to give Haney that 10th round, it would have been 115, 112.
Or 113, 115, 113.
Yeah, 115, 113. Excuse me. Yes, my math is all off. I'm just looking at 5 over there while I'm driving, dog. But anyways, Haney still would have won the fight. Okay. But the problem is that when you have the 10th round scored for a guy that didn't win that round, for a guy and not for the guy that clearly, like one of the clearest rounds during the fight, that's a problem. That's where people's heads are turning left and right. And you have to think about this, big dog. After the fight, right? After the fight happened, I turned around and I said, damn, how'd you score it? Turned around, my brother-in-law was behind me. My brother-in-law was like, man, I gave it to Haney. Asked my buddy next to him, right next to him, my buddy, my other brother, Joel, asked him, I said, what you think? He said, Lomachenko. I said, wow, okay. So if you had to turn around in the arena or at home and say, who you think got that? Guess what? What you saw, you wasn't sure of. You were not sure of.
And there were a lot of rounds like that. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. That's my point I'm trying to make. You were unsure. You know, these judges have to make decisions real time, real speed, in an instance after a round. It's one of the hardest things to judge because, again, the criteria to judge a round: clean, effective punching, effective aggression, defense, ring generalship, like, what does that mean to that judge? And when you have both guys doing a little bit of everything, all the criteria, even landing clean, effective punches, one in combination sequences, and for I don't know why the left hand couldn't miss Haney's head. I do know why, but I'm just saying it kept landing.
Why?
And people saying that.
Why did it?
Because Haney has a wide base. And when you have a wide base, you depend on your in and out. You depend on it affects you. It affects you. It affects your flex, your bend at the waist with your wide legs out like that. It affects you. You can't really bend that much at the waist when you have a wide. You depend on moving out and in, out and in. You can step back. You can step in quickly when you have a wide base. When you have a shorter base, you can move laterally a lot better laterally. And I noticed when watching film on Haney is that when he punches, he brings his head back right to the middle. Always. Lomachenko noticed that. He understood that. And one of the things that Lomachenko told me in the fighter meetings and told the whole crew, he said that he's a 1-2 puncher and that's it. Once he throws the 1-2, his head is right back there in the middle. So he was weathering the storm. Every now and then he would use his legs to set up and he would get Haney to commit. And once he got him to commit, he would lean over, and I call it the Pacquiao because Pacquiao was brilliant at this. He would lean over, bring his eyes over here to the side. Hold on. My wife is calling, man. Dang, hold on. Let me call.
Go ahead. Yeah.
All right.
Yep.
Yeah.
So go on, Tim.
Yeah. So let me go back to that. So Haney, again, when he would punch, he would bring his head right back to the middle. There's not a whole lot of bobbing and weaving and not a whole lot of flex at the waist after he gets done punching. You got to punch and you got to roll under. He wasn't doing that. He was standing in front, trying to be front foot, heavy on his front foot, trying to be front foot dominant, trying to push back Lomachenko. And then during the process of that, Loma was setting traps on him with the straight left hand by doing the Pacquiao, where he'll lean to his right and then shoot the left hand right down the middle, catching Haney right down the middle. And then not only would he do it once, but he would double up the left hand, man. I haven't seen that in a long time. Pernell used to do that. Double left hand straight down the pipe, was landing flush. And some people are saying, well, it wasn't, his head only snapped back. His head snapped back because it had power on the shot. That was a power punch. What y'all talking about, man? That was a power punch. Just like that body shot. That was a power punch to the body. And it was extremely effective for Haney.
Sorry, Tim. I thought you were going to keep up. But Tim, in talking about how he was being front foot dominant there, Haney, and it led to us having that high-speed chess and not just chess, where you get lots of action and it's being fought at the highest level. Did he all make the fight harder on himself than he needed to by being that way, or that was the right game plan?
It was the right game plan. I thought both guys had excellent game plans. And it was like, again, they were making small adjustments in between the game plan. Like 1 minute you will see one guy coming forward, then you see the other guy coming forward. It was going back and forth because Loma needs to come forward to have success. You know, he's a mid-range guy. He likes to fight off his front foot and get his angles, likes to get off that front foot step shuffle. And like I told you, all you have to do is you have to step around with him. You saw Haney stepping around with him, not allowing him to get that angle on him, you know. But Haney understood that he had to bag up Loma, use his size, use his reach at the same time. You don't necessarily have to get close to your opponent when you have a reach like that. You can still press forward. You can still stand your ground, and that's what Haney was trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
You know, sometimes he would overcommit, I would say, in spots, but for the most part, he had the right game plan, bagging up Loma, because you don't want Loma to get a full steam ahead. As you saw when Loma started pressing forward, and I was telling him, like, Loma starting to stay home. He's starting to press forward. You know, like it's going to get bad for Haney. Haney got to keep trying to push him on his back foot, because once he gets going and he starts getting around and getting on those angles and throwing them blazing fast, sharp combinations, it's hard to defend against that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so but Haney, once again, great game plan. He was executing perfectly. He was on the outside of spots, using his jab, using his reach when he had to retreat, you know, and disengage. He did that well. He moved to the side. He did whatever, did what he had to do to be able to get himself back in position and avoid shots and the counter, you know. And the same thing goes for Lomachenko. Lomachenko was doing the same thing. He would press forward at times, you know, when he felt Haney was I would say weakening, or he felt the low in action from Haney, you know, he would press forward and he would let off combinations and he would let off straight left hands, you know, and they were landing. So it was, I thought it was a compelling matchup, bro. The styles are fantastic. It was everything I expected to be. Honestly, that's the reason why, like, it was really hard to really pick a winner, but I had to stick with one guy, and I just thought that Haney, you know, is younger. You know, younger, bigger. I thought that Haney is the type of fighter that can rise to the occasion. You know, he's always been that type of guy ever since I met him, even way back in the days. He knew that he was gonna get to this point.
Mm-hmm.
He knew that, you know, he wanted to be a Hall of Fame fighter. He's a throwback type of fighter. So I went with him, you know. But again, I said, hey, no far gone conclusion. Loma can win this fight too. You know, and Loma showed us that he could win this fight, or, you know what, in most people's eyes, he won the fight.
Let me ask you this, Tim. Where do you think Haney should go from here? Can his body not be 100% anymore at 35? Should he go to 40, look at the T.O. Taylor winner, or stay at 35 and take on, you know, Shakur and Tank? And what do you think of all that for Haney?
Look, Haney's going to follow the money.
Mm.
He's going to follow the money and the opportunity. I think Haney beating Lomachenko, that says enough. You know, that says enough right now. I would love to see him fight Shakur. I would love to see him fight all these other guys, but he's going to do what makes him feel comfortable doing, whatever's going to pay the most money. And most importantly, I think it's going to be about his body and how he felt. You know, I don't know how he felt, you know, 2 nights ago. I don't know how he felt. You know, only he knows, his team knows, his father knows, and he's probably going to make the decision based upon that, because I thought he looked good. I know he's, you know, sucked up, but you got to understand that, like, that last day, that night before you step on that scale, that's when you dry out. That's when you dry out. So he had to suffer for, you know, whatever, how many hours he had to dry it out for, but you stop drinking liquids, you start depleting your water, you know, the day before, that night of, and you come in, you know, 9 a.m. on weight. So it wasn't a whole lot of suffering. I didn't think he suffered a whole hell of a lot. I know he probably looked bad, but I thought he was going to be strong for the fight, and he was.